Hi, this is Annindita Palaus, and I'm back again with my video series on the 7 spiritual laws of success. And today's video is about the 5th spiritual law of success, which is the law of intention and desire. And the law of intention and desire, the chapter begins with a very beautiful quote. In the beginning, there was desire, which was the first seed of mind. Sages, having meditated in their hearts, have discovered by their wisdom the connection of the existent with the non-existent. And this quote has been taken from the hymn of creation from the Rig Veda. And if you remember, if you have been following me for some time, then in the very first video, which was about if Deepak Chopra even knows what he was talking about, then you know what I'm talking about, because when I first read this book years ago, I don't even remember how long ago I read it, but when I was reading these quotes from the Rig Veda, often I would be totally baffled by what it even means. And this was one of those quotes too, that what does it mean, the connection between the existent and the non-existent? So, of course, it took me quite some time and some amount of reading different books, taking different workshops, and also personal experiences before I could really start appreciating these Deepak Chopra books. And today, this is one of my favorite Deepak Chopra books, and every single line absolutely makes perfect sense. But back then, when I was reading these books, I was really wondering that what do these things even mean? Some of these things totally went over my head. And so if you are a beginner in your spiritual journey and if you're reading certain books that don't make sense to you, that's fine. Know that there are many more people just like you and me who had the exact same experience. And that's why I feel like words don't teach. It's the life experiences that really teaches. Because years ago when I was reading these books, only the parts which I had myself experientially experienced were the parts that were making sense. The things that I didn't first-hand experience in my own life were not making sense. And that is true with many people. It's often hard to understand certain things and concepts which you don't have a first-hand experience of. And so just be patient with yourself, and even if certain things don't make sense, just take whatever makes sense. And believe me, life has its own ways of just teaching us and expanding our horizons. So whatever doesn't make sense today will probably make sense to you next month or next year or maybe in a few years. Just be patient with yourself. So coming back to the law of intention and desire. So you must be wondering, what is the difference between intention and desire? And intention is really just desire in its purest form, because often desire gets diluted with our attachment. When we think about something that we desire, often that desire is linked with our attachment. So because we are so attached to that certain outcome or that certain specific thing or person or event, that desire gets diluted. But intention is desire without the attachment to the outcome. And that's why intention is so powerful, because it is literally just pure desire without any resistance to it. Because we don't realize that our attachment to the outcome creates a lot of resistance that actually sabotages our results. We think that our attachment or our desire is what would lead to the manifestation. If you really want something badly enough, maybe it will happen. But that is not the case. When your desire is pure, free of any attachments, that is the state when you are able to tap into that field of pure potentiality that I spoke about in a few videos back, in the video about the law of pure potentiality. If you haven't checked that video, there is a link below in the description to go and watch the previous laws of success. So this law is really based on the fact that energy and information is available everywhere in nature. You might think that there are some people who are more privileged, there are some people who are just born lucky, some people are just blessed because things just work out for them miraculously and magically. But it is not a matter of being born lucky or being blessed or being privileged. It's just that some people have learned how to tap into this field of energy and information, this field of pure potentiality that is everywhere. because energy and information is literally everywhere. This empty space around me, you think that the space is empty, but this space is teeming with energy and information for those who have learned how to tap into it. And that is actually how intuition works. How do people get these intuitive hits or intuitive insights? Or how does gut feeling work? It is when you are able to tap into this field of energy and information, you are able to get insights and intuitive hits. Gut feeling, that is what it is all about. And this quantum field, which is a field of pure potential, the field of energy and information, is influenced directly by your intention and desire. As you already know, this whole universe is made up of energy and information. In fact, the only difference between me and the window or the painting or this wall or that lamp is the difference is the energy and the informational content. Because you might be wondering that if the entire universe is made of the same energy, then how come things look so different? And that is a valid question. Things look different because the energy and the informational content is different. That's why if you take a tree, just take a close look at any two leaves of the tree. They will not be exactly identical. Every single thing in this universe is unique. Even if there is a minute difference, it is still different. And so this is what makes the difference, that everything has its own unique energetic frequency or an energetic imprint, so to speak. Just like every human being have their unique thumbprints. But the difference between humans and plant life or animal life is this, that because of our spine or our central nervous system, the way our spine has been made, it is literally many yogis and spiritual teachers call the spine as the axis of the universe. And it is for a good reason that they call it that. So because the way the human spine is made, because the way the human nervous system has been made, we are capable of becoming aware of awareness itself, which plant life and animal life are not capable of. And that is the primary difference between humans. What sets humans apart from plant and animal life is that we are capable of being aware of ourselves, of awareness itself, of consciousness. And not only is the human nervous system capable of being aware of the energy and information surrounding us, but it is also capable of transforming it, or shaping it, or molding it, manipulating it, so to speak. In other words, you are able to consciously change the information content in your surroundings by using your intention and desire. And when we change the informational content, guess what happens? Since everything is just energy and information, and the only difference between me and that door, or that window, or the painting is the energy and the information content, when we are able to change that informational content, we are able to change our reality. And this change can be brought about by two qualities which are inherent in our consciousness, and that is attention and intention. Because attention is what energizes, it gives life to our intentions. And intention has the power to transform. That's why in my previous videos too, I have many times mentioned how intention is the main thing, because intention has the power to transform. Whatever you focus your attention on will automatically expand in your consciousness. If you are focusing on your problems will expand. If you are focusing on solutions, you will get solutions, solutions will expand. If you focus on your relationships will be happy depending on the nature of the attention, which is your intention. If you focus on the relationships from the energy of complaining or being frustrated or angry, then your relationships will expand in a certain manner. They will become more and more bitter. They will become more and more disappointing. On the other hand, if you focus or if you place your attention on relationships or your work or your health, whatever it is that you're placing your attention on, if the quality of that attention is positive, if you're placing loving attention, then that will expand that particular aspect in a positive manner. So basically, the quality of your intention on the object of your attention has the power to transform your reality, or power to create your reality, provided you're also following the other 6 spiritual laws of success. If you haven't already, then go watch those videos, and there are 2 more videos to come on the 6th and the 7th spiritual law of success. As long as you don't violate the other laws of success or the other universal principles, so to speak, you will be able to use your intention towards creating every single thing that you desire. I like to give this analogy. I've probably used this analogy many times in my other videos as well, that if you go to a country but you are not aware of the laws of that country, and so you end up breaking those laws, you are going to get into trouble. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It just is ignorance, that you are ignorant about these laws, you were not aware of them. And the universe doesn't care whether you know these laws or not. The universe is very unprejudiced in that sense, that it is just working equally for everybody. But it is up to us to empower ourselves with the knowledge of how the universe works and what are the laws of this universe. If you are going to a new country, it is totally up to you whether you read up, do your homework properly or not, to make sure that whatever that you are planning to do in that country is in accordance to the laws of that country. It is your responsibility. It is not the country's responsibility to make sure that you are aware of all the laws. The country has already put up their websites and their laws and everything online or whatever documentation in place. But now it is your responsibility to go ahead, look for that documentation, read it, understand it, and make sure that you have a clear picture of what you are supposed to be doing and not supposed to be doing while in that country, so that you can have an easy stay and you can get the best of your stay in that place. And similarly, while we are on this planet Earth, it is totally up to us, it is our responsibility to understand how the universe works, to understand how these laws govern our lives and how these laws govern the nature around us. And if we don't do our due diligence, if we don't do our homework, then that's when life gets really difficult and uncomfortable. And the law of intention and desire also goes hand in hand with the sixth spiritual law of success, which I will be talking in further detail in my next video, which is the law of detachment. And this is because when you are too attached to the outcome or to the result, you don't realize it, but unknowingly you introduce resistance to that thing when you get too attached to one specific outcome. For instance, if you get too attached, let's say you are trying to manifest a lover, a perfect relationship, but you get too attached to one specific person, that I want this person and this person alone. Or maybe you are trying to manifest more financial success in your life, but you get too attached to a particular job or a particular avenue of making wealth so much that even though the universe is constantly bringing to you and giving you signs and signals that here are some other opportunities which are going to be way more easier for you, way more beneficial for you, but you are completely blind to them because you are only fixated on that one opportunity, on that one venture, on that one avenue, on that one person. And that is actually self-sabotaging in nature, because we sometimes forget that the universe is way more powerful and way more intelligent than any single human being on earth. And yet we think that we know everything, so much so that we are often praying and telling to the universe what it should be doing for us, instead of meditating and listening from the universe what we should be doing. We are trying to tell the Creator what the Creator should be doing, when instead we should be quieting ourselves down and listening to what the Creator has to say. So when we learn to harness the power of our intention, then all that we desire, provided, of course, we are harnessing the power of our intention while still being in alignment with all the spiritual laws of success. When we work like that, in harmony with nature, with the universe, then everything that we desire, the universe must yield to us. And there are 5 ways you can learn to harness the power of your intention. The first way is what Deepak Chopra talks about as going into the gap, which really just means meditating. When you meditate, you silence your mind. The gap is really that space, that silent space between two thoughts. In fact, the reason you can hear me and understand what I'm saying right now is because there is a space between my words. If there would be no space between the words, whatever I'm speaking right now would be just a cacophony of sounds. It would not make any sense. It would just be noise. The reason communication or spoken words make sense is because there is space between the words. And similarly, we are able to experience life, this 3D life, the way we are experiencing, because there is this empty space that provides as a canvas or a background for everything to exist. And that is what the little quote that I read in the beginning of the video, the relationship between the non-existent and the existent, that is what it means. The non-existent is this emptiness, the space, this blank space. And that is the relationship between the non-existent and the existent. Without this empty space, things cannot exist. Without the silence, words cannot exist, sound cannot exist. So that is the relationship between the non-existent, the non-physical, and the physical. The physical needs the non-physical to exist. And so the most important way you can tap into the power of your intention is by slipping into that gap through meditation. And once you are in that gap, then that is when you just gently release your intention or your desire out into the universe. And when you release that desire, the third thing is detachment. To have no attachment as to how that particular intention or that desire would be manifested, or even attachment to whether or not it will manifest at all. Just completely letting go or surrendering. When you understand that the universe knows way more than you and is way more intelligent than you, then surrendering becomes easy and natural. Currently, we don't understand. A lot of people, they are struggling in life so much. They're struggling against everything. They feel that they need to control every single thing. And that is because they don't realize or they don't trust that there is actually a power that knows the way. There is a power that knows way more than the information that you could have possibly collected in your lifetime, or you could have possibly Googled on the internet or read in a book. When we start realizing that there is this intelligence that has created this entire universe, and it has been doing a pretty good job. Just look at a blade of grass or a little ant, how much perfection even a little blade of grass has been made with. You will realize that there is an intelligence that is way beyond our understanding. And then you are able to trust that intelligence even more. And when you start trusting it, then surrender just comes naturally. And finally, being in a state of self-referral. And I already spoke about this in my previous videos, about the difference between self-referral and object referral. Again, if you haven't seen those videos, then the link is in the description below. Just go ahead and check those videos out. But when you meditate and when you on a daily basis start going into that gap, you would automatically start becoming more self-referral in nature. So those are the 5 ways in which you can start harnessing the power of your intent. By slipping into the gap, releasing your intentions while you are in that gap, by remaining in a state of self-referral, by becoming detached to the outcome or the result, and finally by letting go or surrendering. So I hope this video made sense. If you like this video, then like it, share it, and please leave your comments below. And remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified for my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.